At around 3:30 a.m. on Wednesday, the Searchmont Community Volunteer Fire Department was paged after an emergency call reporting a shed was on fire. Fire Chief Travis McCormick said that wind and a close proximity to the shed played a factor in the fire spreading quickly to the house. Both the house and the shed sustained extensive structural damage. McCormick said mutual aid was dispatched for additional manpower and resources from Awares Fire Department 30 minutes away. There were no injuries reported and the cause of the fire in the shed is unknown, but the incident is not considered suspicious at this time. Members of Red Cross were also dispatched to work with the displaced homeowner and their family. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said he was surprised and disappointed by Jody Wilson-Raybould's resignation on Tuesday. The former Justice Minister resigned from the federal cabinet one day after Trudeau suggested her continuing presence there was proof that she didn't think she'd been improperly pressured to help SNC-Lavalin avoid criminal prosecution. At an appearance in Winnipeg late Tuesday afternoon, Trudeau said the government did its job on the SNC-Lavalin file, and if anyone in the cabinet thought anything improper had happened, they had a duty to raise it with him at the time. Wilson-Raybould never mentioned it, he said.
Last night, I accepted Jody Wilson-Raybould's resignation from cabinet. Frankly, I am both surprised and disappointed by her decision to step down. And let me tell you why. This resignation is not consistent with conversations I had with Jody a few weeks ago when I asked her to serve as Canada's Minister for Veterans Affairs and Associate Minister of National Defence, nor is it consistent with the conversations we've had lately.
Are you willing to waive that privilege? Would you like to get a full airing of this before it goes any further?
Indeed, I've heard those calls and take them very seriously, and that's why I've asked our current Minister of Justice and Attorney General to make recommendations to me on the question of solicitor-client privilege. I will highlight, however, that there's a real danger that's been flagged for me of unintended consequences, particularly because there are two court cases ongoing directly related to this matter that could be impacted by such a decision we might make. I will highlight once again that I am surprised and disappointed and, to be honest, don't entirely understand.
The SNC-Lavalin controversy shifts today to the House of Commons Justice Committee, where MPs will decide whether to investigate allegations of undue political arm twisting. Jody Wilson-Raybould resigned from the federal cabinet on Tuesday, leaving fresh unanswered questions about whether Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's aides pressured her to help engineering firm SNC-Lavalin avoid criminal prosecution. Trudeau has denied Wilson-Raybould was pressured to instruct the Director of Public Prosecutions to negotiate a remediation agreement with SNC-Lavalin rather than pursue a criminal trial on charges of bribery and fraud related to the company's efforts to secure government contracts in Libya. The governing Liberals, who hold the majority on the Commons Committee, appear to be open about conducting an investigation. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh warns that if the Liberals shut the committee's work down, it would send a dangerous signal to Canadians about the state of their democracy. Federal Ethics Commissioner Mario Dion has initiated his own investigation into the matter, specifically whether there's been a violation of the Conflict of Interest Act. A judge is expected to deliver a decision today in the sexual assault trial of a former high-ranking gymnastics coach. Dave Brubaker has pleaded not guilty to sexual assault and sexual exploitation at his judge-alone trial in Sarnia. The former head coach of the women's national team is accused of sexually assaulting a young gymnast years ago. At the beginning of the trial in October, the woman, who is now in her 30s, testified that Brubaker would kiss her on the lips to say hello and goodbye, starting when she was just 12 years old. She also said he touched her inappropriately during sports massages and spooned her in bed while taking naps before practice. Brubaker said he never took naps with the gymnast and that he thought he was being a supportive coach. U.S. President Donald Trump says he's unhappy with a hard-won agreement to prevent a new government shutdown and finance construction of more barriers along the U.S.-Mexico border, but he didn't say he wouldn't sign it.
As I'm going on stage to speak, they're telling me about the committee came out with a deal. And, you know, they went over it very briefly. Then I went over it briefly last night, but it was 3 o'clock in the morning. And I can't say I'm happy. I can't say I'm thrilled. But the wall's getting built, regardless, doesn't matter, because we're doing other things beyond what we're talking about here. So we'll see what happens. We're having a meeting on it later. It's really obstruction. The Democrats want everybody to be able to come into our country. I can tell you that, am I happy at first glance? I just got to see it. The answer is no, I'm not. I'm not happy. But am I happy with where we're going? I'm thrilled, because we're supplementing things and moving things around, and we're doing things that are fantastic and taking from far less important areas. And the bottom line is we're building a lot of wall. Right now, we're building a lot of wall. And you think it's easy? We're building in the face of tremendous obstruction and tremendous opposition.